So we'll go to item 10, approval of the minutes of the May 23rd, 2022 board meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes for the May 23rd, 2022 board meeting.
Is there a second? And Mr. Hogan seconds. And any discussion on the minutes? None. I'll see the vote, and it is 6. You were not here. Sorry. So that's 5 and 1 abstention. So we are now, number 11, public participation. Ms. Taylor will call our names out.
Madam Chair, Claudia Miller is here to speak about the foreign exchange program.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, let me read our, if you don't mind. Come on up, okay. Dave. I'm sorry, sweetie. I assume we all know this, but I'm supposed to read it each time. The board welcomes and encourages public participation. However, the privilege of addressing the board does not include the ability to make personal attacks on any board member, district employee, or other member of the public. We respectfully ask that you adhere to the procedures and the decorum provided in Board Policy BEDH, public participation at meetings. Your comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Questions asked during public participation will be handled in accordance with Board Policy BEDH.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I am the South Carolina Field Manager for International Cultural Exchange Services, and I'm also a mother to high school, Chapin High School students. So I have double, belief system that we need to try to address the issue of exchange, because last year I actually had 2 girls in my home, one from France and one from Germany, that ended up in a private school because we couldn't find a school for them. Although we live here in Chapin, I was driving them 45 minutes to a school every day that ended up not being a good fit. And every time I would try to discuss it with anyone in the district, I got either, no, we're not taking them, they couldn't give me an answer why, and there was just no real answer for why they weren't taking exchange students. I revisited the issue at the end of the school year. I called, like I do all the other schools in the state of South Carolina, but this one specifically, we have a lot of parents that are wanting to host exchange students, but until we can get school acceptance, the Department of State isn't going to allow that to happen. So even though we have families here in town that would be able to get the opportunity to have this cultural experience in their home, I just can't get a straight answer for if they're going to take exchange students for the coming year. And if not, why? I did recently get somebody to tell me, one of the ladies at the admin office told me that they would vote in August. But the problem with that is the Department of State, it's a 10-month program. The kids have to be in the country by August. So a vote in August would already close that door. So what I'm wanting to know is, 1, are we going to be able to get school acceptance this year for these kids? 2, is there anything we can do to make that? I mean, is there a guardianship paper that their natural parents can sign? Is there, because my own 2 girls ended up going back to their home countries because the school they were in was not appropriate, and I couldn't get them in the school district that I'm in. So that was heartbreaking for my family, obviously, because we loved them. And so I just needed to know what we need to do and how we proceed at this point.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We'll give that question to our administration. Next. You have some more time. I thought you were finished.
Oh, no, I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't usually respond unless we have an answer for it, but I don't know if you may have to research that. But we'll get a response. You will get an answer. Thank you. Next.
David Herring of Columbia is here to speak about Irmo bands.
Hi, I'm Scott Herring, parent in the Irmo cluster and full professor in the School of Music at USC. On January 26th, the Irmo High School band director position became open, and as of today, June 13th, we still don't have a director. No announcement has made about who that will be. That alone is cause for concern. However, the way the search has transpired is what all of your constituents should be concerned about. IHS lost its first candidate because the band director did not deserve the same level of contract that the directors at Dutch Fork and Chapin have. That candidate was strung along for over a month, was not granted the courtesy of proper communication, and was treated rudely while trying to negotiate the contract. Ultimately, he decided he'd had enough of District 5 and turned the job down. I've repeatedly asked for clarification on this matter from the district office, the Human Resources Department, and I have repeatedly contacted Dr. Ross, who has refused to return my communications or meet with me. I emailed the entire board. Ms. Hines was kind enough to respond, but she had no answer either. I'm just curious, what is being hidden from the public here that's so afraid? From my perspective, many of the parents and students, this is the appearance of District 5 administration or the board is purposely trying to disadvantage Irmo High School, as usual. The fact that a lesser contract was offered to the first candidate is unconscionable, and the fact that no one is willing to answer the question as to why is even worse. The district administration has dragged its feet for nearly 6 months, losing one candidate on the job, and is on the brink of losing another, as once again, contract negotiations, poor communications, and unprofessional actions on the part of HR are taking place. Let me remind you that IHS is the arts magnet for District 5, so it's mind-blowing to think that the director would be offered a lesser contract than those of Dutch Fork and Chapin. We are exactly 6 weeks from the start of the summer marching band camp. IHS has no band director to do the work that should be underway to prepare for the marching band season. Once the director is hired, they still have to finalize a show, hire staff, plan for travel to marching band competitions this fall. They also have to plan and host not one, but 2 marching band competitions at Irmo High School. I, for one, could not imagine walking into that situation in mid-June, and I question whether anyone else will want to either. Dr. Hampton is trying hard to do her best for the high school, but the District 5 administration is cutting her off at the knees. The board needs to get the HR department to do its job. Dr. Ross and this board need to provide answers to why the band director position was not initially offered an equitable contract with the others in the district and why this has taken 6 months. It's completely unacceptable. The band students and parents and families deserve better than what they are getting, or rather, what they're not getting. Thank you for your time.
I can assure you, I'll speak to that we would never, ever make one school lesser than another. I can assure you that, and we will find out an answer for that. Next.
Kim Murphy of Chapin is here to speak about the bond referendum.
Good evening. There are many things that I'd like to touch on, such as the enrollment study. This plan is based on, which was done in 2019, pre-COVID, and much of the data on it was drawn from a 2008 study. But with 3 minutes, I don't have that time. But I'd like to preface my comments by saying, first, I absolutely support the superintendent's goal to increase the educational outcome of our children. And that besides safety and security in our schools, the number one contributing factor is related to our teachers, the greatest assets that we have in our school system. Unfortunately, I believe our teachers statewide are not treated or compensated as the professionals that they are. But one aspect related to this bond referendum proposal that concerns me is an equally important contributing factor in the educational outcome of our children is the involvement and support of our community within the District 5 boundaries. In a year such as this one, with prices of food, gas, and essential needs skyrocketing, even a referendum developed with extensive homework, deliberation of options that meet the needs and objectives, along with a cost-benefit analysis, and with consideration of balancing the cost of the needs with the financial resources available from the public, the chance of a referendum passing is next to nil. And I say that not just because of the economy, but there are many in this district that supported the 2008 bond referendum, but became disenfranchised because the funds were spent on projects that hadn't been advertised in it. One example, whether you support the project or not, and I do support fine arts venues in our schools, almost $20 million was spent on a 600-seat fine arts facility at Irmo High School, a project that wasn't on the referendum. Instead of safety and security in our schools and the construction of walls between classrooms at Harbison West. It was suggested that even if board members who support a good plan but feel that timing isn't right, that a referendum be held to let the public decide. That's been done before. But wouldn't it be a slap in the face of our community to attempt to have any referendum this year? Would doing such a thing this year do anything to regain the very needed trust of the community, or would it set it back? There's a lot to think about here, and I know District 5 has a lot of challenges, and I'm praying for you, but we really need the public behind this. Can you go back to the drawing board and reanalyze what the critical needs are and prioritize those and focus on those? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sorry, that was our little time up, and you beat the buzzer. That's all, Ms. Taylor. Thank you, and we appreciate hearing from all of you, and I can certainly assure you we will find answers to your questions and some of the accusations.